I would say outsource. Your team is absolutely vital. Get a really good team around you.
Power to Live More with Joe Dodds.
Welcome to the Power to Live More podcast, all about productivity, organisation, well-being, energy and resilience. I'm Jo Dodds, and I started this show to enable interesting people to share their stories about how they use their power to live more, and by that I mean to do the stuff that they want to do more than the stuff that they need to or should do. It's about creating a life for yourself where you have the energy, health and space to be happy and fulfilled, spending your time as you'd like, whether that be at work, home or somewhere else entirely. That's your choice.
Hello. My name is Ellie Dodds and I am co-presenter, and today Joe is interviewing Simon Jordan. Simon and Joe have known each other for years, having originally met networking in Kent. He was one of our first podcast guests, so we thought that it was time for his return. Simon is a personal brand creator, adventurer, environmentalist, author, dog walker and whiskey drinker. Back to the studio.
Today I'm interviewing Simon Jordan of Simon Jordan Marketing. Welcome Simon, thanks for joining me.
Well, thank you very much, Joe. It's good to be back, as someone called Gary Glitter once said, but we won't go there. Yeah.
Great start. Yeah, I was going to say, you are one of my returners. In fact, I should have looked, but I think you were something like show number 4 or something. I mean, like, this is years ago. Ellie was 8 when we started doing these, and she's 14 now. So
wow.
So it was a long time ago. But life has changed a lot for you in the meantime, so I'm looking forward to catching up and finding out a bit more. But start by telling people who you are, what you do, and crucially, where you do it.
Well, who am I? Well, Simon Jordan. I essentially, Simon Jordan Marketing. So we were just saying that before you click record. It's got a boring name, really, but it just kind of just says what it is. I do more than that. I work with coaches and consultants. That's my main sort of stable. Okay, so essentially people come to me who need their brand sorting out. They either need rebranding or a new brand creating. But I don't just create the nice, pretty graphics. I go in deeper than that. I learn about who they are. Mm-hmm. And we create what's known as an aligned brand. Because if you are the face of the business, your marketing should be a direct representation of who you are. So the colours should match your personality, the fonts, the tone of voice, the whole design, the whole feel, all the touch points. So that's what we do. And I then work with the clients normally it's over a year, because once you've built, the website and all the marketing, all the touch points, that kind of stuff, you're then going to work with them. Okay, well, how can you then carry on that? So I take them through 4 stages, and it's all based about an airplane flight. It's pre-flight, and then it's flight check, pre-flight, launch, and then it's altitude. And the altitude is the kind of sexy bit where I work with them once a week or once a month and sort of coaching them really how they can build their business, because that's where the important bit is. Because anyone can launch a business, anyone can build a website, it's a piece of cake, but it's actually growing it. That's the key, and that's where it gets really sexy. And I can look at where they are, what they're doing, and also as I learn about them, we can create new products. We can productize their knowledge, set things up. I've worked with loads of clients at the moment. One guy I suggest, he's a very, very successful accountant actually, but he coaches other accountants. He's been doing it for a long time, very successful. He's an award-winning one. And I introduced building masterminds, and that was last year. He's now running 4 of them, about to create another 2, so 6 in total, and he's absolutely flying. So it's just looking at learning about them, and instead of just doing one size fits all, you build it out, which also works with them, so it's aligned with them. So I don't suggest stuff that won't really fit with them and with their energy. So that's what I do. Where I do it, I'm based down in Bridport, but I've got clients in LA, Colorado, all over the UK. So Australia as well. I've got a number of clients over in Australia. So global, really, as we all can be global when you've got an online business. So yeah. There you go.
Lovely. So your business has changed quite a lot over the years, and then come back to sort of your core, but in a different sort of way. And we're quite similar in that respect. We've both done quite a lot of different things. We've had different sort of messages, if you like. And I think it's fair to say we're both back at the sort of what we were supposed to do all along, but with a different spin. So
talk us through a bit about how that happened for you. So we met in Kent probably, God, I don't know, 13, 12 years ago, something like that.
Well, no, well, it's 11 years. This is my 11th year in.
Was it 11 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, I mean,
and yeah,
it's always
yeah.
It's always kind of been this sort of marketing and branding. I've been in the world of advertising and design and stuff for over 30 years now. It's changed. But when I say it's changed, it hasn't really. I would say it's got better. It's got clearer. I did have a break. I went over to France and we were starting up a business, which is a brewery, or rather took over a brewery over there. So I paused my business, learned a lot from doing that and all the chaos that came with it, which you know all about. But yeah, it was always in the background. I mean, that's what I studied. I studied graphic design. I ran and owned 2 design companies back in the day. I was a creative director for an ad agency in London. So it's always been around there. I have an ability of seeing someone's idea and visualizing it and bringing it, out. And crystallizing all the rest of it and making it real and then earning money from it, really.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. But yeah, it's what I'm doing now. Though I work with clients. I mean, one of my biggest clients, we've completely changed them. They're actually it's the IAB, which is the International Association of Bookkeepers, which sounds very dull, and essentially bookkeeping is quite dull. They've been going since 1973, and they brought me on board essentially as their creative director about a year ago. And I said, right from the word go, right, I'm going to humanize you. And they're, what are you on about? I said, well, you guys get a bad rap. We're going to turn that around. And in the last 6 months, we've had more engagement than they've had in over 40 years. And it's phenomenal. We've changed it around. I've made the CEO and the COO, and I was even interviewing the president today. We've made them available. I've made them, we now do regular coffee mornings, and we get 70 people on the call each every other week, and the engagement is off the chart. They love it. We've put together webinars for them now where they're paid webinars, and we've made a lot of money for them. And we would not have got that if we hadn't humanized the brand. So that's what I do now. I sort of go in, and it's so important to do that. The big corporations can't humanize. They can't do that. They can have, they've got the Mark Zuckerberg. Well, that's okay, but it's not, it's still a huge corporation, same as Apple. All the big corporates, you can't get that personal touch, whereas small businesses can. Even, the IAB was reasonably a big company. It's been going a long time, got thousands of members all over the world. But I've changed that around. And that's what I do with my clients. But what I also do, certainly on a smaller level, when it's smaller businesses, I work out what's right for them, get them to tune in. Because, and this is something that's come up a lot recently, where you'll get people, and I was one, I'm sure you are, Joe, as well. You'll see the guru in inverted commas, and you think, oh, fantastic. And they're selling a package which is become rich fast, or whatever it might be, maybe not even that crass. And you buy into it thinking, great, well, it's a blueprint to success or whatever. And the thing is, their success will never be your success, because their success, I mean, for example, I can show you how to build a business. I can show you how to build a very successful coaching business. And I can show you, these are the steps to use. This is how I built my business, because I also coach my clients as well in the business. But you'll never get the same. Never, ever get the same, because my path is totally different. The connections I've made over the years, the networking I've done, the energy I bring, how I am with my clients, all that kind of stuff. Yes, you've got the foundations, but it's different. So what I do with my clients, we build it out, but at every point we check in, and I get them to say, okay, is this feeling right for you? I mean, it may be sound a little bit woo-woo, but it is really important. Are you getting a gut instinct from this? Does this feel right? And if they don't understand, well, what does a gut instinct feel like? We should all know that. But just keep checking in, because if you go off on a tangent and think, oh, I've seen this new gizmo or whatever, and I think this is great. Where's that coming from? What's that decision made from? Is it a position of, well, I've seen someone else use it, so it must be brilliant? Or, great, it's another shiny object. 9 times out of 10, it will fall on its arse. And I've seen so many people. I've had clients come to me and go, great, I want to set up a mastermind group or a membership site because I want to make a load of money because I've seen other people are doing it. And as soon as they start talking to me, I know it will not work. So now I work with people and go, right, where is this coming from? Is this coming from a place of ego, or is it actually coming from the heart? Do you really feel that this is right? And I'll give you an example. I have just released a new book called Wild Swimming Through Lockdown. That whole process, I can't actually remember putting it together. It sounds really weird, but I talk a lot about this thing called simplicity of success. And it's it being in flow. We all know when we're in flow. We get it when we're on holiday and when we've had a complete break and we're not thinking about work or anything like that. And the ideas just come. And it's like, well, where are these ideas coming from? And Elizabeth Gilbert talks about this in her book called Big Magic, which is a brilliant book. And that's when you're in flow. That's when you're tuned in, you're listening to what the universe wants to bring, or what the ideas come forth. But when you're actually in your day-to-day business, you get distracted or you'll see something, you think, oh, that looks good. And what's driving you most of the time is ego. And when that happens, it's kind of forced success. And I've done it, and I fall on my face and my arse, and sometimes all together. And it just hasn't worked. But when you actually stop and go, actually, do I need this? Does this sit right for me? And it just tunes it. And going back to this book I've just created, it was I swim every morning in the sea. And it was during lockdown. As lockdown started to ease, we started to notice more and more people, and old people from the previous year who I know started to come back. And the idea just came through, and I thought, I need to capture this. I need to put this in a book. And I'd asked them, I said, do you mind if I photograph you as you come out of the sea? Now, if you're thinking, a majority of 70% of the people in the book are women. So imagine some guy saying, can I photograph you with no hair, no makeup, wet-faced, coming out of the sea in the morning?
Yeah.
Everyone said yes. They all signed the model release form, and putting it together. And the joy has just been phenomenal. It's been out just over a week, I think. And I'm going to have to do another print run. It is unbelievable. We're in Coast magazine before Christmas. We're in Dorset magazine. In fact, Dorset Art magazine have asked me to also write an article in January. We're in the local press around Dorset tomorrow. And it has not been difficult. And I haven't, at no point have I thought, I want to do this because it will be good for me or for the ego. No. And in fact, all I've said, a lot of people say, it's brilliant, you've done a great job. And I said, all I've done, I've just been the curator of it. I've just brought it together. To be honest, Joe, I didn't really actually want to have my photo in there because I thought it's not about me. I know I'm one of the swimmers, but I just wanted to capture them. It's just amazing. The Cornish Bakery has sponsored it. And they're a big chain of cafes down here on the south coast. And it's just amazing. And again, that is coming from flow. So I could talk about this, the simplicity of success. It's a series of stages I go through with my clients, and it works. It really does work. There you go. That was a long-winded.
It was. But yeah, a good sort of narrative of how you work now. I think, evidence to me of this, and I know you've talked about this a bit on your social media, is, when we last spoke, and I should have checked when it was, it must have been 4 or 5 years ago, I suppose, on here, you were in that sharp blue suit, weren't you? I don't suppose that's the image you're going to send me to use this time, is it?
Good. I do. Funny enough, I had a load of suits, pinstripe suit and stuff like that, and I've binned them all because it just wasn't me. Back in the day, I was chasing the dollar, faking it till you make it, all that BS, and it just didn't work. It really, again, coming from a place of ego, I wanted to be the big shot, blah, blah, blah. It just did not work. Now, I'm pretty much 8 months of the year, I'll be in shorts and bare feet. And yeah, I'm here now, shorts, T-shirt, My hair's short now. I cut my hair. It used to be really long. But
you were a right old surfer, weren't you, for ages?
Well, I was. Do you know why I cut it? Because when I was training to swim the channel, I was fed up with the hair. It doesn't matter how I try to tuck it in my hat, in my swimming cap. It kept coming out in my mouth and crossed my goggles. I went, stuff it. Right, I'm going to get it cut. And actually I quite prefer it now. It's easier to handle.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the swimming photo for your profile shot for this, maybe.
Oh, no.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that's a good sort of introduction then to what you do and also how you work with your clients. What does that mean in terms of what your days look like?
Well, my days are full on. Well, I say that. I mean, my alarm normally goes off. In fact, my alarm doesn't go off. I tell a lie. I don't set an alarm. I haven't used an alarm now for probably a year and a half. I wake up the same kind of time, about 5:30, 6. This morning is about 5. Because I go to bed early. I'm in bed by 10. I'm asleep by 5:15. So yeah, I normally wake up. Hey, very Californian, but it just... it's
hang on. You went then. That was exactly what happened this morning. So you said you get up at 5. If you just start after that. Sorry,
yeah,
and I'll put it out.
Yeah. So yeah, most mornings, well, I never set the alarm. I wake up normally about between 5, 5:30, just naturally. It sounds very Californian, but it is. And I just make a green tea, very Californian again, and just sit on the sofa. And I stretch out. I'll just do some exercise. I've got a gym at home, so I'll just do some stretching in there, just to limber up, because I'm 51 now and I creak a bit more than I used to. Mm-hmm. And then at 20 to 7, I get on my little pedal bike and I pedal down, and I meet my fellow swimmers at 1:45. So that's how close to the beach. I'm half a mile from the beach, and it's lovely. And we go for a swim. I'm in the sea for half an hour, 45 minutes. Come back, and I go for a coffee at the Cornish Bakery. It was a little cafe. Do brilliant croissants, and normally I just sit and I watch the harbour. Gina, my partner, she'll come down with me as well, and it's beautiful. And then we cycle back, and then I probably start work between 9 and 10. But that is how my day is. I don't normally work after 6, but saying that, I've got a call for an hour and a half with my client in Colorado tonight. That's going to be an hour and a half call, so I'm not finishing until 7:30, which to me is ridiculously late. But yeah, it's very simple. My life at the moment. That's how I like it. I don't do complicated.
Yeah.
My PA is brilliant. She blocks out time. I have time when I don't want calls. I take a doze in the afternoon if I need to. I have my personal trainer here today, and actually went for a 15-minute kip before she came. I thought I needed the energy. Yeah. But yeah, very, very, very simple. Nothing complicated. We eat out when we can. Obviously with the lockdown going on, but yeah, it's socialise a lot. Very, very simple.
Lovely. So I was talking before we started about the fact that I bought one of those, what are they called? Circle lights, donut lights. Now, what are they called?
Oh, the ring lights, yeah.
Ring lights, that's it. I was describing all the things that were circular, not the right thing. On account of an article you had on your blog about all the technology to use for creating videos. So I'm still taking your advice on tools and apps. So what have you got to share with us today?
It's funny enough, I signed up for Ecamm Live, which is a good bit of software, but then I thought, actually, I don't need it. It just allows you to broadcast live to Facebook Live, and you can put your logos and stuff like that on there. And I thought, yeah, it's good, but do you need it? Does my business need it? No, not really. So it's only £27 a month or whatever it was, which is nothing really. I thought, it's just another gadget. I don't actually need it. I can do Facebook Lives. And to be honest, again, this is going back to tuning in. I found when I did Facebook Lives, and I thought, right, I haven't done one for a while, so I need to do another one. Okay, need to do one, or does it feel right to do one? And when I've done them before, where I thought, yeah, I'm going to do one. It never felt right. The energy hasn't felt right, and hard to get any engagement. And what was the point of that? But when I've come up with I need to say this. This is a message that I feel I have to say. Great engagement, and it's always been really good. So yeah, Ecamm Live is good if you're doing. And you can set 2 cameras up as well. So you can say, camera 1 and camera 2. It's very cool. It's very easy to set up. But essentially, I've just got a MacBook Pro. Don't know if it's the latest version of what it is, and I've got a ring light behind me. I've got a Yeti mic on a stand. I've got all the sound deadening foam behind around my desk.
Yeah.
So as you can hear, there's no echo in here, and it's a reasonably big office. But it's that's it really. Just keep it really, really simple. But I have just ordered a standing desk.
Woo!
Because I've just thought I've been sitting down for too long. and I need to, just don't want to try it out. Well, it's one that sits on the desk because I really like my desk because it's I've had it for a long time. So
and top tip, don't stand up when you're doing your recording because it'll echo all round the desk.
What?
I have a standing desk, but you'll remember from our video before we started, I'm actually sitting in my armchair on the basis that it's too echoey at my standing desk.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually, because I mean, my insulating pads, they do go up quite high, but not that high. So, no, I will sit down for that.
Yes, yeah. Aha! So, you've talked already about having a VA to help you to get stuff done, and you talked about team earlier. You've worked with other people for a long time to deliver your service as a independent business owner.
Yeah.
What sort of tips have you got for that? It's something that you've always done, but many people don't because for various reasons.
I would say outsource. Your team is absolutely vital. Get a really good team around you. I've got a team of guys now. We've got 2 project managers. I've got 2 programmers, 2 designers. This is all for web stuff. And in fact, they do, they're brilliant designers. I've come to a stage where I just think, you know what, I'm getting old in the tooth. They're younger and better and they've got more creative ideas than me. So I just farm it all out to them. Get a really good team around you and treat them well. I pay my team really well. I pay them over the odds. I pay them more than they would normally charge because that way it brings loyalty. I look after them. Same my VA. When invoice comes through, pay it. Don't quibble over it. Look after your suppliers because without your suppliers, you're kind of screwed. So outsource as much as you can. I am going to be launching a new part of the business where I don't have much to do with it very soon, which people can come in and they can pick and choose, and there'll be all the content of how to build the business and that kind of stuff, and it'll be a fee, and my guys will handle it, and I don't have to have that much involvement in it. But it's all about the team and outsourcing, absolutely vital. If you think, I really can't afford it, do something. Stop going out to restaurants or whatever. It is vital. It will. At the moment, there's only so many hours in the day that anyone can work before you're burnt out. But when you bring a team on board, it releases some of that stress. It makes it easier for you. If you get a good team, I've worked with my guys now for about 4 years, and brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They work really bloody hard. In fact, sometimes they're emailing me on a Sunday. I'm going, guys, this is Sunday. Just stop. I don't need it. Nothing's that urgent. If my client said to me, I need it now, I'm like, well, do you really? And in fact, the clients I've got are not like that. No. So, my main thing is outsource. Yes. Can't say that more enough. I don't want to employ people. I've done that before. But just outsourcing is really, really key.
Yeah. And what about the whole sort of keeping healthy and energetic for your business? You've already talked about a lot of sort of the exercise. You have regular challenges. Perhaps you can tell us a bit more about that. And you've talked a bit about the way that you sort of look after yourself with your exercise and so on. It's something I've always known that you've done, but it sounds like you're much more sort of intentional about that now.
I am, because I've always sort of ticked over. I was 50 last year, and I thought, right, I'm 50 now. I want to up my game. I like challenging because it teaches you a lot about mental strength, stoicism. I like big challenges, really. I've always, last year I was doing a trail race every month, which is great. I love a bit of bling. In my gym, I've got a rack with all these medals on. It's great. It's actually, you just look back and go, wow, I did all those. Yeah. But it teaches you a lot about yourself when you really push it. So this year, in fact, now, what day are we in? What time? The 15th. Yesterday we would have. It was the period where we were booked in to swim the English Channel. Myself and a friend of mine, we were going to be doing it together, sort of side by side. But that all fell apart because of COVID, the pandemic, and I couldn't train. I swim all year round in the sea, but come March, it's actually the coldest time of the year, and I couldn't swim. I was getting in the pool and I was doing sort of 2-3 hours a day, and you can't do that in the sea, not this time of year, even with a wetsuit on. It's just and the pool's closed. So it was like, okay, I can't train. So that sort of fell apart. But no, every morning, doesn't matter if it's raining, seas are choppy. If it's choppy, I swim in the harbour. But I don't care. I really don't. I did 90, almost nearly 100 days of swimming back to back in lockdown. I was going down, there was no one else around. It's some crazy weather as well, but it's brilliant. So I swim every day. I have a trainer that comes to the house. I've got a gym here, I think, as I said, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And absolutely beasts me. But I love it. It's good. And I think as you get older, you do need to work harder, and you need to work hard on a lot. So I'm working with a coach. I've got sort of, I think when you get to a stage, you need to invest in yourself as well. You've got to look at that. So I've got someone who looks at like mindset, so works with me on mindset. I've got someone else working with me on like nutrition, things like that, making sure I'm getting enough protein in. Yeah. Excuse me. And I make sure I'm smoking enough. No, joking. And then the personal fitness as well. But my mental, just mental health is me sea swimming every morning, which I love. I just go out. I say hello to the other people. I just swim quite far out, and just to be there in the cold sea. In fact, it's not cold at the moment. It's still warm. It's about 17 degrees. I actually like it when it gets really cold. And it's just that sets me up. So I'm in the water about half an hour, 45 minutes. It's just beautiful. I love it. And then come out and it's just, wow, I'm ready to start the day. It energizes you. I say it rewilds me as well. Because, we're sitting, everything's so comfortable, isn't it? Our homes. And I like going places where it does get you uncomfortable. It is cold in the sea. Yes, I've been stung by jellyfish, but you know what? It's part of nature. And it's sort of raw. There's no... Mother Nature is not soft and cuddly. It's just she is what she is. We're with Jurassic Coast down here. She smashes against the cliffs. We have rock falls, that kind of stuff. And we were swimming the other week, and this huge wave broke over us, and it's like shit. We've never seen one that big, this far out, because they're normally they break near. And it felt like that was a warning shot saying, "Don't get cocky." But it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. We're part of this. It was beautiful. Yeah. So that's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about sort of keeping up to speed with what is happening and learning and improving yourself and that sort of thing? I mean, everything you've said so far shows that's sort of happening. Do you do anything specific around, apart from your coaches, obviously?
I don't really. I don't go out and see what new gadgets are out there. I see. I'm always listening on social media what comes out, and I'm speaking with enough people. Yeah, that I will hear new things, and I just trust in the process. When I need to learn something new, it'll come out. I'll find about it. So I don't actively go out and seek it. I read a lot. I read a lot of autobiographies. I've got about 2 on the go at the moment. So just keeping your ear to the ground. My technique. What I'm creating now is, I think, as I said before we started recording, or even on now, I think the simplicity of success. That was something I've created this year. It's a really simple process, but that will be coming out in a book, and then there'll be workshops and things like that, because it's actually a really simple process. So there's different, and maybe different. I suppose technology. You've just told me one which is quite good about the noise cancelling out, which is pretty good.
The noise cancelling, that's right.
Yeah, really good. But that's it, really, Joe. To be honest, I'm not a member of any groups on Facebook because I'm too busy to be actively involved. So I thought I'm not going to do it justice. So I don't go out. I regularly get invited to come and join the small business entrepreneurs group or whatever. Like, no, I really don't want to be part of that. I just keep my ear to the ground.
I end up joining groups and then ignoring them. Maybe I should
that's it. I just. I had one the other day, and it was just so random. Yeah. It was just, I don't know, some wise like Turkish food group. Like, what? Why the hell would I want to be part of that? It wasn't. I can't remember what it was, but it was entirely random. Very weird. Yeah.
I don't know. So, last couple of questions. Firstly, what about those days where it all goes horribly wrong? What do you do then?
I'm going to be brutally honest. I can't remember the last time I had a horribly wrong day, but when it does, I stop and think, okay, what is this telling me about me? Because your external world is a reflection of your internal world. So if I've spent a whole week being in a bad mood, which I don't, but if you're really grumbly or miserable or whatever, normally the outside world will show you. Something will happen. It could be a client or whatever. But actually, in the whole of this lockdown, the last 6 months, it's been it's been hard in terms of just the amount of work that's coming through. It's been really, really busy. But no, I haven't really. I mean, yes, I mean, Gina and I, we have a half. We're any relationship, we have the arguments, whatever. But no, it hasn't really fallen apart. But even when you knew many years ago, when I was in a bad place, that I am really grateful for it, because it taught me a lot. And the chaos, and again, as part of this, I keep going back to this simplicity of success. It's sections where you think, okay, it's all fallen apart. What do I need to learn from this? And then have gratitude for it and go, wow, okay, this is something that's come up. Something needs to be learnt here. And then, look at it from that way, rather than, oh, bloody hell, life and blah, 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 and blaming. And that's what so many people do, but actually take ownership and go, okay, I've obviously created this. Doesn't matter whatever it is, but take ownership of it. Look at it and come from a place of gratitude and go, okay, right, I get it. I need to change differently, and fine, and then move on from it.
Yes, yeah.
It's really, really key. Don't sit and lounge and go into it too much. I lost my brother in January, which was terrible, and I miss him every day. But I don't spend my days wallowing. I've got this lovely picture montage that he gave me from when I met him at the marathon. I was running the marathon last year, and he met me at the end, and it was brilliant. It's a lovely montage, and I look up when I see his smiling face looking down at me. And I think, wow, I'm so lucky that he was in my life. He taught me a lot. I don't look up and go, oh God, it's terrible, and because that's not going to do me any good. It's not. He wouldn't have wanted that.
No.
So yeah.
Yeah. So what about those days when you are living more, which is where I talk about getting to do more of what you want to do and less of the stuff that you don't want to do? I think we've talked about that throughout. So you probably just go, all the days that I've just described to you.
Well, no, there are. I mean, one thing I have noticed. Because not a lot of people know this, I have a heart condition. It's a leaky valve, which is actually very common. Not a lot of people go through their lives and never know about it. And it was diagnosed earlier this year, and they said we don't need to operate. Now they're saying they do have to operate. I'm like, well, make your bloody mind up. It's reasonably simple. I don't know. I'm going for a second opinion. But there are days when I get really tired, Joe, and it's like, I feel absolutely wiped out. And I know that I've maybe taken on too much, and I have to rest. I have to make time now. That's why we're going away. I mean, I haven't actually had a proper break since March 2019, and I am right now. I mean, life is brilliant. It's not Facebook kind of look at me brilliant. I don't shout about that. You hardly ever see selfies of me because that's not me. But I genuinely every day I have gratitude for even you spending time now interviewing me, for me to be able to speak, and people hear this. It's wonderful how lucky that we can do this, and we've got the technology and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But there are days as well. I give out so much to my clients. They're all doing really well, and it's brilliant. But I have to take stuff and go, actually, you know what? I need to take time for me because I'm just knackered. I'm worn out, and I got to it was about a month ago, and I just got to the weekend and thought, I'm absolutely knackered. I'm just wrung out. And that's because I've given so much to my clients. I'm all about big energy and give them everything. And just, it's brilliant. I love that and the results they get from that. But I think actually I need to turn that back in on myself and look after me for a bit. So we're going away. So yeah, it's, there are some days where I'm exhausted, and I do. I go back to bed. As you said, I go for a swim early in the morning.
Yes.
I was back in bed by 11, and I went back to bed for an hour. See, I want to work for myself. Why the hell not?
Yeah, exactly. The joys of having your own business.
it is lovely. And actually, you know what? There is, I talk about this thing as well. There's no hustle in the flow. And I personally, I don't like the word hustle because it's all kind of dog eat dog and go out there and hustle and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Actually, it doesn't need to be like that at all. And I'm living proof of that. And I see that. And I used to do that for so long. And people go, what God, you don't get up at 4 a.m. and go to bed at 1 a.m. kind of thing, and you're not doing 500 press-ups an hour and that kind of stuff. It's like, well, fuck off, excuse my language, but that's not, life doesn't have to be like that. You will burn out incredibly quickly. So one of the things I have learned is just stop and just take time out and love yourself and go, you know what, I'm tired, I'm going to go off to bed. And that's not weakness, that is actually being strong enough to admit that and go, yeah, I'm knackered, I'm going to go back to bed. It's Monday morning, I'm going back to bed for 11 or whatever. and just listen to your body, because your body will always show you what's going on. And if you do not listen to it, that noise will get louder and louder and louder. And my heart condition, I think that's just years of, bad old days. I just do a lot of drink, drugs and stuff like that. Don't do any of that anymore. But it's been there for a while. So now it's going to be repaired, and I think, well, brilliant. God, how much more energy will I have? Gina's going, God, you'll be a pain in the arse. But I do. That's one of the things that does actually get me down when I'm really tired. I could be 8 o'clock at night and I'm nodding off, and I'm like, oh, I hate this. I don't like it. But I just think, well, just accept it. Don't fight against it. So Gina's away at the moment, and I think, great. When the cat's away, the mice go to bed early. Yeah, rock and roll. But I love the mornings. It sounds probably really corny, and again, California. But every morning I wake up and go, wow, it's another day. It's a chance for something different, or it's wake up with hope. There's a joke in there somewhere. Why is hope in your bed? But anyway, but it is wake up with hope. It's great. I love it. Love it. For me, mornings are the best time. So sleep is key for me. So
yeah, lovely. I think you painted a good picture there. I think just even that thing about doing all these sort of challenges and all this sort of stuff that a lot of people wouldn't do, like going swimming every morning in the sea and things like that, but also knowing to stop, and that you can stop, and that you should stop, and you will stop is great to hear, because
it's vital. Because I see so many business owners, and I see Gary Vaynerchuk. I remember seeing a video of him, and he was bragging. It was 11 o'clock on a Christmas Eve or stuff, and people saying, "Oh, here's my staff, and they're all celebrating, but I've not. I've got another 2 meetings to go to, and it's all about the hustle." And I just thought, you bloody idiot! You're missing out on life. Business. Who cares how much money you're earning, how much turnover? You know what? I would rather sit with someone who didn't have much in their pocket but had amazing stories to tell, and they'd actually been sensible. They hadn't burnt themselves out. And who cares? I mean, I drive a 10-year-old Peugeot estate with 100 and whatever thousand miles on the clock. It's got full of sand from going to the beach and back with the dogs. I couldn't care less. Why would you? For me, I wouldn't want a flash car, because one, it doesn't turn me on. But I just think I would rather go and spend my money on going to Everest or wherever, trekking and that kind of stuff, to build the stories, because that's the richness of life. But also being sensible enough so you get to a ripe old age, and you're still around to tell those stories. So loving yourself, looking after yourself, eating the right food, and when you're tired, go to bed. Nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Thank you, Simon. It's been great catching up with you again. Tell people how they can find out more about you and get in touch.
Carrier pigeon or smoke signals. No, go to simonjordan.com. So that's Simon Jordan, JORDAN.com. Jordan as in the river and the place or whatever. simonjordan.com, and it's all on there. You can find me on all the social media. They're all down there. Everything there, and all my environmental initiatives and all the other bits and bobs. It's all there. So yeah.
Brilliant. Lovely. Thanks, Simon.
Thank you, Joe. Cheers.
All this information is available in the show notes. If you go to powertolivemore.com/, in this case 182, then you'll find them there. And this week I just want to talk about getting organised in terms of to-do lists. It's something that we were talking about at my membership site, Power to Live More Calm Call, yesterday. We were talking about how I use Todoist as my main tool for tracking my to-do list items. I also use Asana, which I use for my podcast processing and for some of the work that I outsource to my VAs. I quite like the concept of a list. I've always been a bit of a list person. I don't really do visuals, so Trello, which is more about the Kanban boards, has never appealed to me. So I like Asana from that point of view. But for managing my personal to-do list items, I use Todoist, and it's got the sort of accolade of being the only tool that I've really stuck with over an extended period of time for such things. And over the years I've tried everything from Filofax to Scion to HPIPAC to different time management, task management techniques and so on. And I've stuck with Todoist because it can be really simple and easy to use, but it also can be highly sophisticated. It has a series of projects where you can put your tasks, and you can create hierarchies of projects, as well as create sections within those projects to enable you to better manage the tasks. It also has a labelling system. So if you follow something like getting things done or any of those sorts of styles of time management where you create context labels for your items, then that can be really useful. I have labels like iPad, phone, laptop, desk, i.e. places where I'm going to do those activities. And I also tag all of my tasks with how much time I think they'll take. So 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 20 minute, 30 minute and 60 minute, so that I can slice and dice my to-do list using the filters that they have to great effect. One of the things I truly believe you need to bear in mind when you have a to-do list is to enable you to create so many views, or as many views as you need, that really cut the list down into shorter, more manageable chunks. So I don't have just one list for the day. I have lots of different views, which might be a view of the tasks by the amount of time they're going to take, or it might be only the tasks that I'm going to do on my laptop, or only the tasks I'm going to do at my desk, or the tasks for project-based items that are the most important and need to be done sometime this week, albeit not dated, and so on. And so we spent a lot of the call yesterday going through how I set that up, and my sort of main message was you don't have to be so seemingly complicated with your own to-do list. And the thing with mine is, the reason it is or does seem to be quite complicated is all those times where I might ordinarily have sort of hopped off to another tool because I like organising myself. I've actually just changed all the filters on Todoist rather than sort of start again somewhere else. So that's one of the advantages of it, because it's online, because it's an app. You can actually shuffle things around really easily and change the views and so on. And thinking back to getting things done, I think he has a Sunday maybe file that you put stuff in that's sort of like an idea, but not something that you want hanging over you whilst you're getting on and doing all the things you need to do, but you don't want to sort of lose that idea, so you capture it in your Sunday maybe file. And that's one of the things we were talking about yesterday, that I have a whole load of projects rather, and tasks that are in a top line project called Stuff to Keep or something like that. And the idea is that I have all the films I want to watch, all the books I want to read, all the places I want to visit, and all of those sorts of things that people throw out and give you at different times. And I just stick them into my to-do list, and then I corral them into this particular place. And I rarely look at it. And to be honest, I'm probably never going to watch most of those films, but I know that I've got them somewhere. So if I want to go and find one that's been recommended, it's in there. And then I have a whole other project that's called Pending, I think. And actually what that is all the stuff that I transferred from my previous to-do list tool that I hadn't ever really got around to categorising properly or doing anything with. And I kept it, and I've kept it under pending, so it's there, and I could go through it. But again, chances of me doing that are probably fairly slim. But in that whole sort of concept of get everything out of your head, get it all into a tool of some description, or even paper, if that's your preference, and so that you don't have to remember it, you don't have to keep it there nagging you. You've got it somewhere, you have a process, and you know you can find it if you need it. And that, that's the importance of having that pending file, which, as I say, I'll probably never particularly look at, but it was a way of being able to get that stuff out of my head and stop it clogging up all the other things that you need to be thinking about as well. So whichever tool you're using, just think about what is the best way for it to work for you. I do believe this stuff is always really personalised, and we certainly talked in some detail about my members and how this might apply to them. And, some people just want pen and paper. Some people do want a tool like this. Some people have a combination of those things. Some people don't even have to-do lists at all. They have a don't-do list, and they have visions and plans and goals, and they work to those rather than using a to-do list. It's definitely horses for courses. It's very much about what works for you. And obviously the first point in that journey is finding out what does work for you. I definitely recommend Todoist if it's something that you're struggling with and you haven't got a process at the moment. If you go to jododds.com/recommends/Todoist, you will find it there. And the other thing, last week I put up a
product around Aweber. So if you're an Aweber user, or you haven't got a mailing list provider currently and you're thinking about signing up with one of them, Aweber have a free account now up to 500 subscribers, and it pretty much gives you access to all the functionality of Aweber, including their 24/7 support. And it's, as I say, free until you've got 500 subscribers. So that's something to look at if you haven't yet got a mailing list provider. I am an Aweber certified expert. You'll see me on their website. So I put together a product where you can invest in an hour's one-to-one session with me, looking specifically at your setup and enabling that, and helping you to make sure it's all set up properly and you have a plan and a strategy for your email marketing through Aweber. And it also gets you 30 days access to my membership site, which is Power to Live More Calm. If you're interested in finding out more about that, then just go to my website, powertolivemore.com, and you'll see under products, one of the drop downs is Aweber. And again, the show notes for this week's show are at powertolivemore.com/182. And we look forward to speaking to you next week.
Use your power to live more.